Okay, everyone. Wednesday, the 7th of January. There, good start. 7th of February, guys, and we are back. Middle of the week. I'm Hamish. We've got Ryan, Tony, Tony's dogs as well in the background there. Big game, guys. We're just saying just before we came on, it's got the feel of a big night, Ryan.
Yeah, absolutely. Delighted to be back on. Obviously, I wasn't on yesterday. Hopefully, the show went well yesterday morning. Yeah, as a big game, as a big feel to it as well. Just given the narratives that are behind it as well. The fact that Rodgers hasn't won at Easter Road in his career, I think part of that was down to the fact that Hibs were relegated in the first season when he was there. But yeah, it's a big game. Obviously, with what happened last night in the Rangers Aberdeen game, the gap is closed. Every team has played the same amount of games. Now it'd be Celtic's game more with this one against Hibs. It's up to Celtic to put some pressure back on and get back to winning ways. Saturday, as much as Saturday was a disappointment, it's all about tonight and it's all about getting back to winning ways for Rodgers and his side.
I've sensed a small or maybe a large change in the kind of mentality and what fans are saying from the kind of despondency of recent weeks. There seems to have been a fair bit of, I don't know what the word for it would be. That drive seems to be back with a lot of people, that hunger for what's to come. I don't know exactly why that's come, but already the comments are coming in tonight and things are far more positive. William saying, I think tonight is the night. They might not create as well or as much, the Hoops, but it has to click sometime. I believe Easter Road is where it will happen. Gordon saying we must find our ruthlessness tonight. All it takes is one game. Mikey saying absolutely nothing less than 3 points tonight. So we're raring to go, Tony. Is that how you feel as well?
I said to you before we came on here, it's just got the feeling of a massive game, hasn't it? Tonight, Celtic really do need to go back on a domestic horse and make some kind of statement of intent. Even the dogs agree. You can hear that. I think the dog walkers just turned up, to be fair, which is why there's a wee bit of background noise. But yeah, I just want to see Celtic, and we're going to get on to our predicted 11s, but I said yesterday, and I stuck by it. I've gone 3-5-2. We'll talk about that, but I just want the manager to do something different. I want two guys up front, and I want Kuhn and Maeda to start. They're in my team. So, but yeah, tonight's really, really big, isn't it? I mean, you just can't underemphasise how important it is for Celtic. And if Rodgers is ever going to win at Easter Road, then start it tonight. Start a 14 massive matches for Celtic in the league, and make some kind of statement tonight, and go and just go and show why you're champions, basically.
Yeah, it is interesting when you look at the league table and you need to be reminded that things are level now. I know, as Ryan says, we play tonight and we'll go a game ahead of them as well, and hopefully 3 points ahead of them. But for all of the kind of feeling and the worries we have about Celtic, and for all the optimism across the city, I would still say it's a pretty level fight. I mean, it literally is, very level. And I just sense there's a feeling that, there's all this stuff going on, and that includes the team. The team haven't been good enough this season, but they still have a chance to put this right this season. This can still be a very successful season. And I think, not meaning to speak for people, but the feeling is that tonight could hopefully be the start of something. It could also be another awful moment this season, so we'll just have to wait and see how things go. They really are on a bit of a knife edge, I would say, but I'm hopeful. Sponsor shout out quickly: MPH Group and Navien. MPH are Scotland's award-winning family-run all trade specialist. They cover mainland Scotland, and they have a Navien Boiler promotion for you. You get a free Navien Internet Controller, flexible finance options, and much more, so you can make the smart move and sign up with them. Thanks to them for sponsoring this. Right, without further ado, as Tony leaves us, he's almost as if he's already seen this, Ryan. He's disgusted at the fact you've not gone 3-5-2. Right, talk us through this, mate.
Yeah, I've got to be honest, I can't see us playing 3-5-2. I want Celtic to be playing the same formation that they always do, because you know, as much as it's a good idea to maybe change about the formation and try something different, I just think it would cause more confusion. If they've not been training to do a 3-5-2, then I don't want that confusion from off the field. Maybe they're training to go onto the field. I want them to be playing something that they're all used to. With that being said, though, I've changed some of the personnel about. A lot of these changes I wouldn't have made in normal circumstances, but I'm just looking at it on the side of Rodgers made some of these changes at the weekend, especially the Ralston one. I wouldn't normally put Ralston at left back, but Rodgers made that change at Pataudry. He made that change before he put Scales there. So I'm just trying to go through try to go into the mind of Brendan Rodgers and you know, try and figure out what he's thinking. Maeda straight back in for me. It's been amazing how much Celtic have probably missed Maeda, despite his lack of technical ability at times. His ability to stretch teams and make things happen has been really, really missed in that starting lineup. And Ida, you know, it was a really great debut performance from Ida against Aberdeen. He got the assist. Kuhn as well made one of his first appearances for Celtic, and he got that goal. So the two of them linked up well. I just think they should shuffle the pack a bit.
Just on your first point you made there about 3-5-2 and whether the team have been training for that, I would be very surprised if they haven't. And I remember from Brendan Rodgers' first spell, I remember hearing from a few people that, you know, they do plan for lots of different eventualities in training, namely when we go down to 10 men. I think it's actually, is it a back three he goes to when we go down to 10 men? I think it might be like a 3-4-2 he plays quite often when we go down to 10 men, certainly domestically, and we've had success with that. So the team will be prepared for loads of different scenarios. So I think they're more than capable of doing it. Tony, you left there in disgust at Ryan's team a minute ago. What's the consensus?
I've gone 3 at the back, and I've gone for the 3 centre backs: Scales, Nawrocki and Welsh. I've opted to take out Alistair Johnston because I think his form has dipped as well. I've gone with the same midfield 5 with Maeda on the left and Kuhn on the right, Bernardo, O'Reilly and McGregor, and I've gone 2 up front. I've gone Ida and Kyogo up front. As you say, the manager always says that they prepare for various things, so Celtic, even in the short time they've had to prepare for Hibs, I think even if he does switch to that, the guys will know exactly what to do. I mean, that was what they did at Ibrox, wasn't it? When you're talking about that game, the Edward game, when Celtic went down to 10 men, Stojanovic got sent off, and he sent on Edward, didn't he? First thing that happened was Dembele linked with Edward, the ball ended up in the back of the net. So, as I say, I've gone 3 centre backs, the 3 normal midfielders, Maeda on the left, Kuhn on the right, and the 2 up top, Ida and Kyogo. We have to do something. He has to mix it up. That's my team. And as I say, Alistair Johnson drops out, Palmer drops out because I've not been happy with the way they've been performing. And Nawrocki's lucky to be there, but I'm giving him another chance after Saturday because he needs games and he needs to get used to everything. But that's just the way I see it. Again, Ryan was saying try to get into the mind of Brendan Rodgers. I guess we're all trying to get into the mind of Brendan Rodgers when we do these predicted 11s. It'll probably look nothing like what myself or Ryan have said, but hey, it's something different, isn't it? And Celtic need something different, I think, tonight, and I'm hoping that's the kind of that's kind of spark the need and the catalyst to go on a win and run as we reach the business end.
Yeah, I mean, something has to change because the team just kind of look like they're bereft of ideas at the moment. You feel like something big has to change in that lineup tonight. They can kind of snap us out of this little rut, and it is only like a 2-game thing. I really hope that we look back and it was maybe just, you know, a slow start after the winter break. That is still a possibility because remember, like, we were all really happy with the team going into the winter break. They were starting to really find their form. That game at St Mirren was really good. Obviously the derby before that, and that's only a few weeks ago. So I think, you know, we have to remember that, and hopefully tonight is the start of a new run, because it's going to have to be the start of a new run if we're going to win this league. Hazel asking if we're worried about playing Nawrocki tonight. He was poor at the weekend What do you reckon, Ryan?
I think he had a really poor second half. I thought the first half he was well up for the battle for Miovski, but it seemed as if Nawrocki, like the rest of the team, had a bit of a 20 minute sort of panic when they came out for the second half, almost as if they didn't expect Aberdeen to mount a challenge in the second half. You know, Aberdeen didn't have a touch in the box in the first half of that game on Saturday. They would have got a rocket at half time, or maybe some words of encouragement from Levin. But yeah, they came out a different animal. It was as if they remembered they were the home side and that Celtic were potentially there for the taking on the day, and they got their reward with Miovski's goal. Miovski obviously scored last night. I don't know if we'll go on to talk about him, but he's looking every bit a future Celtic player if Celtic can afford them. But by the time the summer comes, but yeah, I thought Nawrocki was okay for 45 minutes. Then he had that 20 minutes where he looked extremely panicky. He could have been sent off in the second half. I was surprised that he wasn't given his marching orders for that tackle, because I thought it was more of a yellow card than the one that he actually got a yellow card for. But yeah, I'm okay with persevering with him. You know, one bad game doesn't make you, or one mixed game doesn't make you a bad player overnight. I think it would do more harm than good taking him out of the team. He's Celtic's most expensive acquisition of the summer transfer window, of both transfer windows combined. So I would, in these games, these are the games that I would expect Nawrocki to play. You know, I think as long as he has a good performance tonight and gets back to what we know he's good at, which is defending and passing out from the back, then I've got no problems with him playing. But he needs to have a better second half performance. First and second half, he needs to put them both together and have a good 90-minute performance, because, you know, despite Hibs' form, they've got some dangerous players returning to the team, such as Navien Boiler as well. They've got Eli Yohan, it's quite a temperamental player, but they've got danger men in the team despite their league position, despite their form, and it's up to those defenders to defend, basically.
Yeah, for me, it's like it's a time for Nawrocki to stand up. He's had a torrid afternoon on Saturday, but this is where you find out about players, you know, going to another tough game. I know Hibs are struggling in the league, but I said yesterday they've got, for me, one of the best attacks in the league with players you've just outlined there who can really hurt us, and it's a real time for Nawrocki to stand up and be a warrior tonight, because we need, you know, 11 warriors. That may sound over the top for a trip to Easter Road, but that's how I feel tonight. That's how big tonight is. We can't go into the game tonight, you know, half-heartedly, like we did on Saturday. I know we're the better team in the first half, but we still just didn't quite have that that desire to move the ball quickly, that desire to get stuck in. We need to see that tonight. And I mean, in a weird way, if I see that, I'll kind of be happy, because the result sometimes just doesn't go your way. But I think if we see that application tonight, the result will. But even if it doesn't, at least we can hold on to that, because what we're watching at the moment, you know, that slow pedestrian football isn't what we want to see. Just a few comments I want to go through. Smell the glove getting involved. If Palma and Abada start, then just forget it. And he also has a feeling that Ida is going to start ahead of Kyogo. Just on that, I just have a feeling that, I don't know if we start ahead of Kyogo, but I have a feeling, Tony, when that team comes out, that Ida is going to be in it. I don't know why I have that feeling, but I just do.
I think he'll be in it, yeah. But I also think that Kyogo will be in it as well. I just think he'll try something, because he was asked yesterday about what Ida would bring and how he saw him linking with Kyogo, and he kind of just fudged it a wee bit by saying, well, I can play one up and put the other one on the bench, or I can play one up with one behind, or I can play the two of them together. So I just think he didn't want to give too much away, because he is thinking about it. I was just trying to kind of read him there, and he didn't say too much, so I think he might surprise everybody by going with two. Could be wrong, but if he starts with one, I've got a feeling it'll be Ida. He is quite excited about Ida and what he could bring to the table, and it might be a kind of game for Ida. But like you, I want to see that intensity, that high tempo that Brendan Rodgers talks about, and that pace and power which he bangs on about, which I've not seen and evident of late. But there has to be, I know you used the word warriors, but there has to be an element of bravery going into this game as well. Just don't hide. everybody want the ball, get on the ball, and do your thing with the ball, because Celtic do have infinitely better players than Hibernian. And if the guys want the ball and they're hungry for the ball and do what they can do with the ball, then Celtic will win the football match. It's, it stands to reason. But I don't want anybody hiding. I want Navrosky to step up to the plate. He had a Nat Phillips-esque Kilmarnock second half performance, didn't he?
That's harsh. That's the harshest thing you could say about any human, to be fair.
Yeah, it is harsh, but pretty similar, wasn't it?
True.
Seemed to be doing okay, and then the wheels came off, didn't they, basically? But you do two things here. You drop them, and I think you run the risk of just shattering their confidence, or you let them play through it. And I think Navrosky's a good enough player to play through it. And I think he'll be determined tonight, and he'll come out the blocks and think, okay, chalk it up to experience. I had a bad one at Pretoria, a bad second half. I'm going to show you what I can do. And I think if you get the manager's seal or nod of approval, then you go out and show everybody, you go out and show the fans as well. And you just need them to be a collective tonight and really play for each other and stand up, because it's going to be a big test. And Celtic have never won at Easter Road under Brendan Rodgers, everybody knows that. So, go out and win there. And if you can win in style, great. But, results paramount. But these are good players.
Yeah.
They're good players, and if they do what they can do, then you shouldn't have any worry about them, really, should you?
Like, this is your moment to stand up. You're in the midst of a title race now. Like, ask them the question, do you want to win this league? And all of them, I would assume, would say, yes, I do want to win another trophy, I want to win a medal, etc. This is your time to do it. Like, we've got a short season now. Tonight is the night where you have to start turning up, because if we drop points tonight, our league chances go down big time. I tell you that right now. If we drop points tonight, we drop behind our rivals. Everything just grows. The frustration, the doubts about this team, and there are doubts about this team. If they win tonight, I'd love any victory, but a commanding performance, a big result would be amazing, and I think it would change a lot of people's views. That's what tonight is about. We'll come on to the Easter Road record in a second. AR saying, sorry, but if Rodgers doesn't try something different tonight, I'm of the opinion he's not the right man to take us forward. If he's such an elite coach, he has to see there is an issue. 420 saying we all need to stick together, back the team. Chill Pill, looking to the future, winning the league this year will be the sweetest for years. And Patrick bringing up the possibility of Kyogo starting on the left hand side with Ida up front. He did play there at Vissel Kobe, also played there at the start of his Celtic career. The record at Easter Road, guys, 13 times we've been there since they were promoted back to the Premiership in 2017. Of those 13, we've only won 3 wins out of 13. We've drawn 7 and we've lost 3. Can you name the victories, Ryan?
One of them was it right after Lennon got the job?
Right after Rodgers left, yep.
Yeah, I think Forrest scored
Cup
in that game.
Cup game 2-0.
Yep.
The other one was Maeda scored from long range. Aaron Moy scored his first goal for Celtic.
4-0.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of the other one. And there was one of Angie's team's best performances. Carter Vickers scored from a corner. And
3-1, wasn't it?
Mikey Johnson and Tom Rogic had tremendous first halves. I think that was one of the best 45 minutes of football I watched when Ange Postecoglou was manager. But got to look to those ones rather than that combined one. Those draws are like defeats in the Scottish Premiership. They certainly are now. Celtic cannot afford to be dropping any points anymore. There's no margin for error, and they need to be winning games. We also need to be winning games commandingly. You look at that Ross County game from a couple of games ago, only 1-0. These are games that could potentially cost you at the end of the season, because you need to be scoring more goals than one. Ross County conceded 5 to Motherwell last night. I know they're completely different games and different mindsets and teams playing a different way, but still be largely the same 11 that they play against. So it's up to Celtic to be better than that goal difference. St Mirren took 3 goals off of Hibs just a couple of days ago at Easter Road. Now Celtic have better players than St Mirren. St Mirren might be playing decent football just now under Stephen Robinson, but individually Celtic have got far better players. It's up to Celtic to be scoring that amount of goals or even more, because it could come down to goal difference this season. Those 2 games against Rangers that are coming up, they're massive in the context of the title race. They could very easily both be draws, and then it goes to goal difference if both teams are perfect come the end of the season. It's up to Celtic to be getting back in the goal trail. You know, you're looking at Kyogo, you're looking at Palmer, Abada as well, who usually hits double figures in goals. Looking for Kuhn to be involved as well. Matt O'Reilly scoring more goals. I think goal difference could be very, very important this season, and Celtic need to be back scoring their 3, 4, 5 goals a game. If they do that, then it means that they're playing well, and you know, I think the two go hand in hand.
Yeah, a few people saying that, having a go at me for bringing up that record, jokingly, obviously. I will redeem myself by pointing out that those two league wins you mentioned, both one in each of the Postecoglou seasons, were both midweek games, were both at night, guys. So maybe there's a wee omen there for the team this evening to get that result. What else did I want to talk about? I want to talk about Rodgers' comments yesterday. We've kind of touched on them. We got a comment in there from Craig saying, Rodgers moans at the fans to stay calm. 4 out of 6 points and we panic. I don't see Rangers settling for 4 out of 6. Wrong attitude, boss. I must say, I found these comments interesting. I've not quite worked out yet whether I like them or not. It was Rodgers. This is on the title pressure. He's quoted as saying, I think this was to the print media. I think the experience, both having been here before and over the period of my career, definitely helps. One of the things you learn is to regulate as pressure. You find ways to deal with it, but you know at Celtic it's par for the course. And like I've said before many times, the key is not to get too emotional with words. So that's fine. You don't want your manager to be feeling the pressure, do you? You want him to be kind of calm, as long as he's aware of what's going on, to calm. But he then cited the Scottish Cup clash against St Mirren during the Invincible season, and he said, you know, we'd won all these games and then suddenly we were 1-0 down to Jack Ross's St Mirren and I had a fan banging on the dugout, and I realised that's when you come to Celtic, and I almost took it as though he was saying like the fans are never happy, and almost criticising us for criticising the team. And I think the criticism of the team this season is totally fair. So I don't know if I agreed with that point, but I guess, Tony, in the overall thing, the fact that he's quite calm is a good thing.
Yeah, this is where the man earns his elite level coach status, right? Bangs on about knowing the rules and knowing the city and knowing this and knowing that. Okay, how about you transfer that calmness onto your players and all that knowledge that you've amassed, and, you know, let these guys handle it the way you would handle it if you were playing. You know, transmit that vibe onto them, because a lot of guys, you look at the Celtic players now, and there will be nerves kicking in because Rangers are breathing down their necks. So it's up to the manager to transfer all his managerial skills onto the players and say, look, I've been through this course and distance before. A lot of you have as well. This is how we're going to cope with it. This is what we're going to do. And as you rightfully say, the fans' criticism this year have been warranted. I think Celtic's best run of winning games is 6, isn't it? This season, all right, 6 wins in a row. That's what they've mustered this season. Going to have to win 13 or 14.
Yeah.
You know, to win this title, something like that, aren't you? Going to have to score goals during that too, because it could come down to that. It's going to have to do a lot of things. So the fans aren't carried on anymore. You know, they know what they're watching, and the manager knows that too. And, you know, 4 out of 6 is crisis. I'm like you. I was like, okay, where are you going with this? But, you know that, but you've got to stress the importance of that to the players, that any drop points now could be fatal to your title hopes. It is. That's the movie that we're now in. And people have to grasp the enormity and the seriousness of that. It's all right him saying, I'm a winner, I know how to do this and all that. That's all fine and well, but you're dealing with a group of footballers. Some of them haven't did this at Celtic. So this is where you have to come into your own. This is when we will see our elite level coach step up to the plate and be the manager we all think he or hope he is, and steer them over the line, because I've still got every confidence in him, and I've still got every confidence in him to be able to get a tune out of these players. It just has to start right now. There is no margin for error now. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he's not feeling the pressure, is positive in a way, but that's almost not the issue for me this season.
Yeah.
The issue's almost been that the team aren't feeling the pressure enough to an extent. It's almost like drawing at home to Motherwell and losing at home to Hearts and losing away to Killy's kind of acceptable. And I don't say that for sure because I'm not inside the Lennoxtown and all that, but it just seems as if the team are kind of content not to be as relentless as they were last season. It's almost as if, Ryan, you want Rodgers, and I know, I agree, you don't want Rodgers coming out in the media and going, oh, this is getting a bit hairy, I'm a bit worried and all that. You want him to be calm, but also you hope behind the scenes that he's telling the players, guys, you cannot afford not to win tonight.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's a different persona with the players than what I hope he's just protecting the players when he comes out with comments like this, because if he's like that with the players behind the scenes, then I think that would go a long way into describing why Celtic have become lethargic, particularly from October, November onwards. I just think that Celtic have taken their foot off the gas this season. You look at where Celtic were after they won that game against Motherwell at Thir Park. Rangers get beat against Aberdeen on the same day, and there was 8 points between the two sides. It was actually St Mirren that were second place at that point in time. So from then onwards, I think it's been like the tortoise and the hare story, where Celtic have kind of fallen asleep and allowed Rangers to just get closer and closer. I don't think there've been any great shakes, but they've stabilised and they've won games they're supposed to win. Celtic have been dropping points in games that they've realistically supposed to win. You look at the games against Motherwell, look at Kilmarnock from a winning position, Motherwell's from a winning position as well. You look at St Johnstone before the Rangers game, obviously nothing each, which is a poor result when you look at the fact that they were getting beat off of every other team and they got a point against Celtic. Hibs away, the last game that we played away from home to Hibs was nothing each. It was a poor game all in. So yeah,
that game just passed by, mate. That game just passed by. We dropped points and it was just like we didn't even look like winning that game. You know what I mean?
And the thing is, James Forrest hit the bar with 2 minutes left to go. But this lethargic attitude that seems to be permeating in the team at the moment, it's shown in the results, and they need to be laser focused from now until the end of the season. Otherwise, if they're not laser focused, they're not going to win this league. They're going to have to be they're going to have to be glued in and ready for this. We're going to find out very, very quickly whether or not this side can stomach a title race, because they very much are in one. Let's see if they can handle the pressure that's going to be coming towards them, because they've had pressure before, but now Rangers are breathing down their neck, and every game will be scrutinised to a very, very large extent. And let's see if they can handle it, because I'm yet to be convinced at this point in time. But I'd like to be proven wrong or proven against that sort of notion that I've got in my head. There's players there that have achieved a treble with Celtic in the past. You're wanting them to stand up and be counted and bring those players that maybe aren't used to this pressure into a sort of mentality that they will be. But yeah, it has to start tonight. It has to be a good performance, a good win, a good couple of goals, and I think a lot of people will be feeling a lot better about themselves, both in the club and away from the club.
Yeah, it's the common theme is, it has to start tonight and the team have got a chance to get things going. Just a few comments. Paul saying all very well being calm, but when you're dropping points here and there and accepting that Celtic part may not be home for Brendan for very long. Steve bringing up Brendan Rodgers' comments about the pitch, media and refs. I think that was to do with Neil Warnock. I found that a little bit strange from Rodgers, and gave a wee insight into his mind at the moment. Not exactly what I wanted to hear, but we'll judge him and the team on what happens on the pitch. He spoke a bit about Maida, saying that Maida's in better shape than when he left, which I guess is good news, Tony.
Yeah, great news. Listen, he confirmed what I wanted to hear. He goes straight back into my team, Hamish. Yeah. He has to go straight back into the team, just give you a lift. And as I said yesterday, he's a team player. You need team players tonight. You don't need guys that are maybe playing for themselves at the minute, which I think Palma is a bit. I know Ryan's laughing, but
I know exactly who you were on about.
Yeah, right, okay, fine. But you know what you're watching at times, right? So I want that ethic in it, and I think even just watching Maida, will spur a couple of guys on. The guy gives his all, whether he's attacking or, Hamish, you were saying yesterday, some of his crossing can be wayward, some of his finishing can be wayward, but when he gets it right, he gets it right. But what he does do is he gives you a shift, and I know that's a prerequisite for any Celtic player, but my goodness, he busts his hump for that team, and he's well liked by his teammates for that very reason. And if somebody like Maeda can show some of the guys and lead by example, then I'm all for that, because there is just different things to spark. The business end. Celtic need something to spark the business end tonight. As I say, got 14 games. We now enter a mini season, don't we? This is it.
Yeah.
It's a mini season. You break it down like that. You take it a game at a time, as they say. And I'm looking for something from Celtic tonight. I'm looking for bravery. I'm looking for spirit. I'm looking for stomach. I'm looking for fight, battling qualities, all of that. But I'm also looking for a performance with intensity, with tempo, and I'm also looking for them to score goals. You cannot underemphasise and stress how important it is now to start putting teams away, start putting chances away if you get them, and get that goal difference back up. Because it could come down to that. Because, at this moment in time, you say, who's going to take points off Rangers? Probably Celtic, isn't it? And you would have said up until a while ago, who's going to take points off Celtic? Probably Rangers. But do you trust Celtic? Probably not. But this is it. I mean, I think basically we are now, if you're having any kind of talk, the season kind of starts here. You accept that it's neck and neck, and to the victor, the spoils. And as you said, Hamish, you can look everyone in the eye and they'll tell you they want to win the title, but you'll be able to tell if they're up for it, and that starts tonight. Whatever team he plays has to go out there and perform. And I mean perform, not hide. You can't go hiding tonight. Tonight's not a place to hide, because if you hide, then Celtic will get what's coming to them. You've got to go out there and be brave and want the ball and make stuff happen. You can't wallow in this, we're being rotten and this and that. Sometimes you've got to, do it yourself. Spark yourself out of it. Shake yourself out of it. And I mean shake yourself out of it. And do something, do something productive. And that goes for every player.
Yeah, I wish there was more than one Japanese internationalist coming back into the side tonight. I just think, I know he's injured and it's a bit, futile talking about him. But I think this team is missing Hatate tremendously, and they've missed him the whole season. They missed his guile and his ability to break the lines in the midfield in that engine room. I'm counting down the weeks basically until he's back in the team. I know it'll be towards the end of the season, but he's needed. He's just something different in that team, and I think he was the difference under Ange Postecoglou in games, especially away from home at times. I think the fact that he's not been there, and Cart Vickers as well, he's been injured too, but these two players were massive reasons as to why Celtic won a treble last season, counting down the days basically until both of them are back in the side. But it's up to the players that are in the side to step up and be counted for.
Yeah, that's it. We don't have them tonight, and excuses can't be made for tonight's game. Celtic need to respond to the weekend. They need to find a way to reset, like we did after that defeat to Hearts. Clearly, there was a big reset after that, and we came back and gradually built ourselves up. And that winter break, came at a terrible time for us. I think looking back, I think if we'd have had continued to play through January, we would have kind of kept that momentum going. But they need to find a way to get it back. Rodgers seems calm about it, maybe slightly too calm, but hopefully that he's just behind the scenes, gearing the team up, and hopefully they're not responding to all the criticism. Hopefully they're kind of sheltered from that a bit, because you don't want to add extra pressure onto them, but equally you want them to be aware that tonight is a big game. But remember that the previous manager, we go back to him, he always viewed pressure as a really good thing, and the fact it's a big game is something to be embraced tonight. It's not something to be fearful of. So go out, Celtic, and get 3 points tonight. That's what really matters. And if we do, we keep moving forward. Tonight, as much as Hibs are struggling, is a big game. Will we reconvene tomorrow, guys? Is that the plan? Are you guys doing a video tonight? Is that the plan?
Pre and post week, we'll both be at Easter Road tonight.
Both at Easter Road?
Yeah,
wow.
both of us tonight. Yeah, absolutely. So probably the one laptop between the two of us for the live stream. There'd be no point in doing two laptops if we're sitting right next to each other. But yeah, we'll be doing pre and post match tonight, as well as speaking to the manager hopefully after the game. And then I think it'll be you and I, Hamish, tomorrow, because Tony's off on Thursday, which is tomorrow. So yeah, you and I will reconvene tomorrow and discuss whatever happens, win, lose or draw at Easter Road tonight.
I might bring one of the dogs along for authenticity as well. We sit in Easter Road and stand beside us just to, just to get that kind of background noise in. If you want it, guys, But hey, looking forward to it.
I hope you have a great night, guys. I'll be getting up early. I think it's a 7 a.m. kickoff here, and I'm kind of raring to go for this. Listen, we might look back at this as being false. It's not even really optimism, but false hope. But I'm raring to go and really hope Celtic can deliver against Hibs. 3 points, and as I say, move on. Right, we'll head off now. Thanks for your time, guys. Thanks everyone else for tuning in, both at the time and afterwards. If you're watching, as I say, the guys will be back pre-match and post-match tonight.